So if we recollect yesterday's session, yesterday we have seen, how to create these basic integrations and what are the integration components we do have, like integrations, processes, and visual basic. And we have seen how what are the various components inside the integrations, like integrations, adapters, connections, lookups, and libraries, and packages, agents, right? Adapters is nothing but already pre-built systems can be provided by Oracle. By using the adapter, you need to create a connection so that you can connect to the specific system. So the example for Oracle e-business suite. Oracle e-business suite is nothing but our on-premise system. The same way Oracle ERP Cloud is nothing but our SaaS application. By using OIC, you can connect to the e-business suite system and your Oracle SaaS application system. You need to provide a logins by using the connection. The lookups is nothing but it's a kind of case and decode. Based on some condition, you need to derive the target value based on the input value. The package is nothing but all the integrations can be grouped into one of the package name. And the library is nothing but if you want to perform any logic on a specific column, you can derive the logic in JavaScript and upload the JavaScript file to the integration, and you can use the JavaScript function against the column. Okay. Now, we'll see the integration objects in the components here. Whenever you created the new integration, there are the right side, we have a couple of components are available. Just we'll see what are those components. Very good. Got it. Okay, now integrations. My net is very slow here. Okay. This is GP10 test integration one. Just try to open the same. So yesterday we have created this integration, and very first time you have seen two errors, right? One is the flow design error and one is your tracking error. So you need to add a tracking here. And when you add any flow, automatically this error will go. Now we'll see what are the various components we have for this integration. Guys, if you not understand anything, these components related things, especially for the OIC topic, please immediate stop me and let me know wherever you are feels, somewhat it's not understandable, so that I can try to explain in another way.
So for each integration, we are going to create one scheduled orchestration. Is that like, let's say you're doing Coupa to Oracle integration?
Yes, yeah. For each integration, you need to create depends on your requirement. If it is real-time transaction, you need to create app-driven orchestration. If it is scheduled integration, you can go for the scheduled orchestration. So most of the time, the real-time, we will go for the scheduled orchestrations. Very rare scenarios will use app-driven orchestrations, especially when you work in the Sales Cloud applications and the CRM applications. Then you can go for this real-time transactions for contracts, opportunities, and all. The rest of things, 99% you will go for the scheduled orchestrations only. Client will place the files into their FTP server and will try to process the bulk data into our Oracle system. Okay.
If they don't have a SFTP option, so what would they be? Let's say we have.
For example, if they do not have SFTP option, then we need to get the data from the tables.
No, not from there. From Oracle to a third party.
Yeah, that is from the legacy system itself. So the legacy system, if the legacy system doesn't have an FTP, but as my knowledge, we do not. Every legacy system does have an FTP system, FTP facility.
Okay.
In my experience, I do not see if there is a system do not have an FTP like that, such like that. All
okay.
Have an FTP server facility. It's a common thing. So here, the right side, you can see invokes and actions, errors, and the global variables. There are 4 components will be available here. Just go to the invoke section. This is invoke section is nothing but whichever you are trying to create the connections. In the integration section, there is a connections available, right? So if you create any connections against the adapter, you can see all the connections here, each adapter wise. For example, here, there is a FTP connections are created 154 in this instance. 154 FTP connections are created. In the same way, there is Oracle ATP, Oracle Autonomous Transaction Processing, 36 connections are created. Same way, Oracle ERP Cloud, nothing but our Oracle SaaS application. This is Oracle ERP Cloud is nothing but our SaaS application. There are 131 connections are created in this instance. The same HCM Cloud, and here REST services and SOAP. So I want to connect in a REST API. Nothing but there is a REST adapter is available. By using REST adapter, 337 connections are created. In the same way, SOAP. I want to use my WSDLs. Okay, in order to create a WSDL, Oracle is provided a SOAP adapter for us. So by using SOAP adapter, 295 connections are created. The way you can see all your connections, which is invokes. So what is the invoke? So we have 2 types of connections are available, trigger and invoke. While creating the connections, you can see 2 types of options, trigger and invoke. Trigger is nothing but which is inbound. Invoke is nothing but which is outbound. We are trying to, get the data. sorry, trigger is inbound, invoke is outbound. Yes, exactly. Invoke is outbound. Okay. The way it is categorized, trigger and invoke. All you can, while creating the connections, we can use these options, both trigger and invoke, so that these connections can be available in the app-driven orchestration as well in the scheduled orchestration. When you create a connection with the trigger and invokes, when you create an integration with a app-driven orchestration, there you can see the trigger section, not the invoke section. There you
So,
can.
sorry, Vijay, can I stop you here? So, what do
Yes.
you mean by app-driven orchestration? Can you explain?
Yesterday we have discussed, right? App-driven orchestration is nothing but real-time transaction. Immediately, I want to create a transaction when a
Okay.
transaction is happens from source to target. Okay, the real-time transaction, that is one-to-one transaction. Whereas schedule-based nothing but it's a bulk processing. It's clear?
Yes, Vijay.
Yeah, thank you. So this is invoke.
Invoke and trigger both can be used in real time and bulk transaction, right? Because invoke is exposing our services to other third party, correct?
No, I'm not getting.
Invoke means we are exposing our services to third party, so that they can get the data from our system.
Exactly, correct. So as per your requirement, you need to create a connection.
Okay, so it will be applicable for real time also, app driven also, and schedule based also.
Yes, in this app-driven orchestration, you can see the triggers, triggering point. Here, the triggering point, what is the triggering point for the scheduled one? Whereas app-driven orchestration, you need to define the triggering points. What is the triggering point like that? My triggering is the source system. So you need to define the source system triggering point here for app-driven orchestration.
But Vijay, what do we use if we have an outbound real time?
Sorry, what is the use?
No, what do we use if we have an outbound real time?
We are trying to get the data right here from the service.
Outbound, we are sending the data.
Yeah, we are
So we are sending the data in real time. You said we can use app driven if we have inbound in real time, right?
Yes. Inbound is nothing but you are trying to receiving the data from the source system. That is inbound. Nothing but by using a triggering point.
Right.
Yeah. For outbound is nothing but you are trying to get the data from the SaaS application. You are trying to get the data from the SaaS application.
But what will we do when we are trying to send the data from our OIC to some
Just a moment. Just these two things are confused, trigger and invoke. Invokes is inbound or outbound. We are receiving the data. Yeah, sorry, this is vice versa. Trigger is the outbound, invoke is the inbound, vice versa. Okay, sorry, it's my mistake. We are not sending any data to any third-party system. We are pushing the data into our Oracle system. That is inbound. Triggering the outbound is nothing but we are receiving the data from the source system. Okay, it's clear?
No, can you come again?
Invokes is nothing but inbound, nothing but we are receiving the data from the client system. Now, for example, client is placing the data in FTP server, right? We need to connect data.
Okay, that is inbound.
Push the data into your Oracle application.
Okay, pushing the data into the Oracle applications is outbound, right?
Yes, outbound. Okay.
So placing the file, sorry,
File-based.
placing the file. You said
yes.
There could be the multiple way they can expose the REST API and we can get the
data. You can.
There.
The reason here we do have the file-based REST APIs services.
Okay. Yeah.
applicable for you. If it is bulk data, so obviously you can go for the FTP. If it is minimal data, you can go use this web service and the APIs.
Yeah.
In order to consume the data.
So Vijay, what do we use for real time?
Real time, mostly we can go for the FTPs. Within the integration, first you are trying to download the file and read the data, right? In the same way, I want to get some data from the Oracle SaaS application to validate the data. It's not possible to directly connect to the tables, right, within the voice application, which are SaaS application tables. If you want to get any data which is related to the SaaS application, I want to get some suppliers data to validate something. So use the REST APIs and web services in order to get this, your Oracle application data, or you may use BAP reports in order to get the data. 3 ways: web services, REST APIs, and BAP reports. If you want to get any SaaS application data within the OIC. Getting?
Okay. Yeah. So like, for example, if we have a bank transaction and if you want to validate that in real time.
Yeah, if you want to validate, in general, if you want to validate the data in the on-premise system, directly we are connecting to the transaction tables, right?
Right.
Validate the data. So here we do not have any facility to connect to the tables within the OIC, since we are in the SaaS model. If you want to get the data from the Oracle, we have 3 ways: REST APIs, web services, and BAP reports.
So Vijay, once we get the data, can we do our validations like a staging table here? And
no, we do not have. Yeah, again, staging tables will come into picture if the client does have a license for DBCS, database cloud service. Nothing but the complete custom database. The moment you can create these custom tables and custom SQL packages.
So it will be like we are going to get the data and put it in OIC and then push it back.
Yeah, push it back to the tables, and within the package itself, you can validate the data if you have the DBCS. So when client does have any DBCS, nothing but the client does have high volume of the data and multiple legacy systems. For example, I have one of my client, Global Play. For their Global Pay client, they are using around 23 legacy systems are there. 23 legacy systems data they are pushing to Oracle systems, especially for the financials. The moment they are using this DBCS cloud service, everything we are dumping into the staging tables and trying to validate the data by using SQL packages. Again, here validation is nothing but just we are verifying whether the source data for specific columns are null or not. That's it. We are not validating with an Oracle application data. We are not validating Oracle application data. Just we are verifying whether the mandatory columns or data is available or not. If it is not available, simply rejecting the file, and we will send an email notification to the respective users. If all the data is available, we'll try to process the transaction, and your everyday process will reject the record if any invalid data. Okay.
Okay, so when you say invoke is an inbound, right?
Yes.
So that means like from box, like let's take an example, taking as a box. So from box, we are going to get the data and then we'll store it in the OIC and then push it to Oracle.
Yeah, you are not storing in the OIC, just you are processing.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yes.
So is there any option of archiving the files? Like let's say
we do have. The reason file activities are there: download file, upload the file, archive, unarchive, unzip, zip.
So if it is not through the FTP, you won't be able to archive the files?
Without FTP?
Yeah.
No, without FTP we cannot.
We cannot, or we can?
Yeah, we cannot archive the file. You cannot perform any file activities without the FTP.
Okay.
Okay. You mean to say archive the file is nothing but you need to archive the file, you need to place the file into a specific location.
So through SOAP or REST APIs, we cannot archive?
No, you cannot archive. SOAP and REST API is nothing but you need to perform the business transactions. You cannot perform the file activities.
Okay.
Got it?
So Vijay, when you're not archiving, is it like doing like one record at a time?
One record?
So is it going to be like on demand, not like getting a file or anything?
That is depends on your requirement. If you want to perform this on demand, immediately you can submit an integration on hoc base. If it is not on demand, you can schedule as per your frequency.
Okay.
Okay, I want to run my integration every day, so and so time. The way you can schedule an integration. Okay. So still anyone has any questions? Just do not go a deep dive as of now. Once we're done with the file activities, just you can get the same everything to get a clear understanding. So this is invokes. This is
So Vijay, sorry,
yes, yes, Shipal.
as a part of this like training, so we'll be doing a file operation, right? Like we'll be getting file and we'll try to load that. Is that the plan of this?
Sorry, repeat again. Shipal.
No. What I'm saying, like as an example of this training, so we will be processing one file, right?
Yes,
We will
yes,
consume one file and we'll try to load it
yes,
in. Okay. Yeah,
exactly.
that will clarify the doubts, I guess.
Yes, yes. We'll
Yeah.
work on the complete
Thanks.
file activities. We'll try to perform inbound interface.
Are we going to connect with the
Okay.
different
Yeah.
third party like Salesforce to pull the data into Oracle?
As of now, in our part of training session, we will not connect to any source system. Just will show. I will do it complete from FTP side.
Okay. We are not
So
going
for
to
that,
connect with the,
we need more configurations.
Okay.
So we need this username and the password, right? Can someone ping in the chat screen this voice application username, the password, and URL? Someone is requesting. Thanks. So this is the actions here. In the actions, you can see data. Someone is saying.
Yeah, Vijay, so if we won't be, other than the FTP, if you are not showing anything, how we would be able to know when we are doing it from our side, let's say integration, if we wanted to do from third party integration kind of thing? Do you have any like documentations or any guide?
No, don't worry about third-party system. It's the third-party system configurations completely taken by your DBS. It's not part of our job. The connections will be configured by your third-party system. They need to enable a couple of firewalls in order to exchange the data. It's not an easy job to create the connection. Okay.
So you mean that is a DBA task, but it is not a OIC integration consultant?
Yeah, especially a dedicated DBA would be there for these OIC configurations for the DBCS and these connections. The client does have multiple source systems. For example, for my client, I have 2 DBAs, especially for the OIC. They will maintain all these DBCS and the connections.
My client, I don't have a DBA, but everything has been taken care by OIC.
Okay, how many source systems you have?
For now, we have like 6 or 7.
Okay, those source systems are listed in our adapters.
Not all of them are having adapters.
If you have an adapter, if the source system is accept in order to exchange the data by using this adapter, you can use. Otherwise, they will place the files in a FTP server. Mostly they will place the files in a FTP server because we can more complications.
Yeah, the reason why I asked this question is I have a project which I'm working on where the third party system doesn't have a FTP file drop. So that's the reason why we have to.
Okay. Okay, if you have any FTP facility, how will you receive the data?
So for now, what they are doing is it's an Anaplan integration. So they are uploading the file from the desktop. There is no like a FTP
No,
connection.
it's not possible to get the file from the desktop.
They are uploading from the desktop only.
They should be by this FTP server. Yeah. Without FTP, you cannot consume the files. It's a common thing for any source system. First time I am hearing there is no FTP.
Yeah, you can also Google. Anaplan doesn't have that feature of supporting FTP.
Without
we'll see.
without FTP, we can do by connecting with the third-party source directly and get the data into JSON format or JSON format and
Yeah.
put the data into
Yeah,
OS.
the file agent is available, but file agent
Yes.
is work as expected. File agent is available. That is, we'll see when we are working with FTP adapter and file agent adapter. How does it work exactly? Okay, this is actions here.
Vijay, one question, like because
Yes.
before we move ahead, because in our on-prem system also, I mean R12, we are consuming some web services to get data from external systems. So uh, this is possible here as well, right?
You mean this R12 system?
Yeah, R12. So we
Yeah,
are consuming web services to get some payment data from other
yeah.
systems.
Nothing but you are trying to consume the data from R12 system with help of web service.
No, we are getting data from other systems in R12.
Yes, correct.
So is that possible here as well? Like,
Yeah, you are trying to get the data from other system with help of custom REST APIs.
yeah.
That is app-driven orchestration. You need to expect the inputs from your custom REST API. You need to develop a app-driven orchestration so that it will expose a custom REST API, and the custom REST API does have an input. For example, I want to create a purchase order. Okay.
Mhm.
You are expecting in a purchase order inputs followed by your custom REST API. The source system does have a capability to invoke your REST API followed by the inputs. So automatically your integration will be triggered and it will process the transaction.
Okay.
Okay, that is likely for minimal transactions, not for the bulk processing.
No, I think my question was like uh, we get some data from external system, like that is third party system, and
Okay.
using that data we create receipts in
Yes.
Oracle.
Yes.
So we get data in bulk by those web services that they have provided us. So can we like consume their web services to get data in Oracle Fusion and then
You mean to say, how can I consume third-party web service and REST API
yes,
system,
yes,
right?
yeah.
Third-party web services, yeah, you can consume. Nothing but Oracle is providing SOAP and REST APIs, right?
Mhm.
REST adapters is available. You can
Okay.
consume their web services.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that you will get their data.
Okay. Thank you.
So this is actions, data, call, and collections, general, and the end. So these are the activities which you can design your integration, depends on your requirement. This is the data section. Assign is nothing but it's a kind of variable creations. Within the OS, if you want to create any variables, in the PL SQL packages, you are trying to create the variables, right? The same way here also, if you want to create any variables here, this is assign section. Just drag and drop these data sections and try to create a variable, and you can store the values and you can process your integrations and you can change your variable data. This is data stitch, we'll see later. This is map, we'll see later. This is stage file is nothing but you can correlate same as your cursor, PL SQL cursor. You can correlate same as PL SQL cursor. Within the OIC, I want to store some data in a temporary buffer. Within the OIC, I want to store some temporary data. You can use the stage file. You can read the data, you can write the data, you can zip it, you can unzip it, and you can perform some kind of actions by using stage file. Within the OIC temporary area, you can store the data by using stage file. Whenever integration in a running, when the integration you are submitted, the temporary buffer will be created if you use the stage file. And then when the integration is successfully completed, the temporary buffer will be closed automatically, same as your PL SQL cursor. Okay, here the stage file action can read, write, zip, unzip, and list files in a staged location known to Oracle integration. We need to create a temporary folders here. Within the temporary folder, we need to perform the operations like read, write, zip, unzip, and list files. That is, we'll see in detail. This is the call, integration, JavaScript, and the process. Integration is nothing but I want to call my integration from another integration, parent to child. I want to call from one integration to another integration, then you can use the integration here. This is JavaScript. So if you want to use any JavaScript functions, so this is enables you to call JavaScript function from an integration. So before that, you need to upload your JavaScript functions by using the libraries. There is integration component is available, right? Libraries. So first you need to upload the JavaScript files over there so that you can see the JavaScript functions here. This is the process. As you know, OIC does have an integrations, visual builder, and process applications. If you define any process application, the process you need to invoke from your integrations. Nothing but here the process applications, you can get it from here. This is the collection for each, scope, switch, and the while. For each, you are very familiar. Each record you are trying to process. Scope is nothing but this is likely you can correlate with begin end block. When you write your PL SQL packages, you are trying to use multiple begin blocks, right? So what is the significance of to use multiple begin blocks? Anyone? Why don't we use a simple single begin block? Why we are going to use multiple begin end blocks?
To catch exceptions.
Exactly, to catch the exceptions and each statement. If you use in a single begin block, it's not sure where your piece of code is failing, right? Wherever error is there, simply it will catch your global error. Sorry, it will go to the global catch. If we create multiple begin blocks, easily you can track in this piece of code there is an error. The same way in the integration also, this is the scope will act same as your begin end. So if you can create a scope, whichever is the scope, you can design your integration. In that design, if any errors are there, it will catch your error and it will display your error. This is your so and so error in this scope of the design. Okay. Mainly the scope will try to catch errors within the integrations. This is a switch, nothing but switch can act same as if else branch, if else and multiple if else, same as if else. This is a while loop, same as while loop. If the condition is meet, if the condition is false, your while loop can be terminated. This is general section, logger, note, notification, and the wait. Logger, note, notification, and wait. So here the logger is nothing but you can correlate same as a DBMS output put line. If I want to log, if I want to print any message within the OIC, just you can use the logger. I want to print something message. I want to print my variable value. I want to print my integration something flow outcome value. For a debug purpose, you can use a logger. This is a note, nothing but comments. So while writing the PL SQL packages, you are trying to write the comments, right? Some comments. This procedure will perform these tasks. The same way, if you have a lengthy of integration design flow, so it's not possible to remember what is this section and what is this section. Just you can segregate with the comments. This section belongs to this process. The way you can write some comments. This is a notification. If you want to send any email notification to the recipients, then you can use a notification. This is a wait functionality is nothing but, for example, I am trying to perform for each iteration. for each iteration is processing some lakhs of records. Okay, so I want to debug my integration at the last. So if I want to see my analysis of my integration, okay, you can see lakhs of iterations in your analysis because it will process one by record, right? So I don't want to see the lakhs of records in the iteration. When you use a wait functionality, within the each, it will wait some kind of time and it will process your for each. Otherwise, other way, I want to get my Oracle application data within the OIC. The web service is taking some kind of time, or REST API will take some minimal time in order to perform the transaction. Okay, we need to wait the functionality in order to get your transactional data. Okay, in the same way, I am submitting load interface file for import within the OIC. Load interface file for import is running minimum 10 minutes in order to complete the job. In a ERP integration web service, we are trying to get the ESS job status, right? In a while loop, we are checking whether the ESS job status is succeeded or not. So if you are not use the wait, in a while loop, if you are verifying your ESS job status, it will keep on iterating your process until your job completes. Instead of keep on iterating, if you use the wait functionality, in the wait functionality, you need to hardcode every 20 seconds verify the status. So instead of going for lakhs of iterations, it will go for hundreds of iterations. For each 20 seconds, it will try to verify your ESS job status. This is the wait functionality. This is the end. This is the rethrow new fault and the stop. And do we have anything here?
Vijay, instead of wait, do we have any sync async properties? Like it should not wait. It is very difficult to find out how much time we need. Okay, to put the wait, to set the wait, right? So
Why difficulty?
Yeah.
Why we are getting the difficulty here to set
Yeah. What I'm trying to say is that instead of wait, do we have any provision to make this process as in sync mode or async mode? Like when the process is in sync mode, it will wait until the first process get over. Or do we need to put wait always?
No, the wait will comes depends on your functionality, how you are going to design your integration. One of the use cases, load interface file for import. Load interface file for import, nothing but you are trying to insert interface table data. You have the lakhs of records is there. Obviously, for lakhs of records, it will take some minimal time, right, to insert the data.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Within the while loop, you need to verify whether the load interface file for import status is success or not.
Okay. But when that process is there any way to find now we need to put wait, okay, intentionally.
Yes.
But
Yes.
is there any way to make this happen in sequence mode, in sync mode? Like when that process get over, then only it will proceed to next step.
No,
it is not there.
Here you are verifying the while condition here. Automatically, it will terminate your while condition whenever your requirement is met.
Okay.
Okay.
This is the only way.
Going for multiple iterations, simply we are stopping the process by using the wait functionality. So especially why we are using the wait functionality is nothing but if you track your integration, there you can see the complete information for this tracking, for this while information only, while loop information only. Iteration 1, 2, 3, 4 and iteration lakhs. So instead of stopping of that, just you can use the wait functionality so that you can see the rest of tracking of your integration.
Thank you.
Okay. This is end, rethrow new fault, throw new fault, and the stop. Stop is nothing but based on some condition. If you want to stop your integration, by default you will get a stop here. The flow is the stop by default. Intentionally, if you want to stop your integration anyway, you can use the stop based on some condition. This is throw new fault is nothing but, for example, I have A integration, A scope and B scope. A scope and B scope is there. Here scope is nothing but to cache the errors, right? I have A scope and the B scope is there, nothing but parent to child. I want to throw my exception from child to parent. Then you can go for rethrow fault. You can throw the exception from one scope to another scope. You can use the rethrow fault. Throw new fault is nothing but user defined exception. In the PhD also we are using raise application error, right? In order to raise some based on some condition, if the condition is met, we are trying to raise the exception. So here also, based on the condition, you can raise your user defined exception and stop your integration flow. This is throw new fault. This is user defined exception. If you are not using user defined exception, by default it will catch the exception, and runtime you can see your error message. And there is a global fault is available here. The global fault is nothing but, for example, if you are not used any scope in your integration, if you are not defined any scope, nothing but you are not handled any errors in your integration. If any errors are there in your integrations, obviously this will throw the error to your global fault. Global fault will catch your exception and it will print your error message over there. And within the global fault, again you can design your integration. If I get an exception in the global fault, so what you are trying to do in the next process, you can define in the global fault. Again, here you can define this is a global fault. Here it will catch the exception from your integration. And here you can design an integration. If you receive an exception, what you are trying to perform here. I want to update my staging table if I get a global fault, or I want to stop my integration if I get a global fault. Okay, this is your global fault. Again, click on the global fault, return to integration, or delete the global fault. Delete the global fault. This is my integration. So if you use a scope, so obviously your error will be catched by the scope within the scope itself. If you are not use the scope, obviously your error will go to the global fault. Okay, this will see the scenario. We'll see the both scenarios with the scope and without the scope. Okay, now just horizontal. So everyone is clear. This component, this action section. This is X is nothing but there is a global variables. If you want to create a global variable, for example, I am using the scope. Okay, if you use the scope, within the scope, if you have an integration design flow, I want to get some outcome of within the scope. I want to get the result from within the scope of the integration. Let's assume there is a employee number variable is defined in the scope. I want to get this employee number variable data out of the scope. In generally, if you have any variables or if you have any scope information is there, this scope information is not accessible outside of the scope. Okay, if you want to get the outside of the scope, these global variables will come into picture. You can copy the data into the global variables and you can use this data wherever is required in your integration. Okay, that is we'll see later. Now here we'll try to add one variable here, assign, just drag and drop the assign. So when you drag and drop any action item or any collection item or any exceptions related items, every item, not only action, if you drag and drop anything from these components, first you need to create a name for that. First create a name. Within the name, you need to use actual functionality. The name here, something variable initialization. Something I am trying to use variable initialization, just try to create. Now you can create a variable. So this is, now you can create a variable here. Just click on the new. This is variable employee number. This is my variable name. The data type is string and for. As of now, you can use string only. And I'm trying to assign the variable value here. Just click on expression and builder. So here, I'm trying to hard code some value, something 100. My value is 100. Click on the validate. So it will validate your data. If any errors are there, it will throw the error here. You need to rectify the error. So I'm trying to hard code the value within a single quote or double quote. You can use anything to hard code the value. So my variable value is 100 now. Just validate it and close it. Now I want to print this variable value in a logger message. This is my logger message. Just drag and drop and the message, just add the message name. Now just select always, edit expression builder. Here there is a source pane is available here. In the left side, there is an input section. So here, when you see this screen here, when you see this screen which is an input section, always you are able to see here your left side integration flow within the log message. Left side integration flow action items, whichever you are defined, the complete information you are able to see here, all the properties. Let's assume in our case, we are open this log message, right? So within the left side, I have schedule and the variable. You can see the information of the schedule and the variable. You can access this information in the logger message. If, for example, after logger message, I have something other flow, you cannot access. The way, wherever you are open, the left side, the complete flow, you are accessible within the open item. Okay. Now this is logger message. I have in a variable. So this is my variable employee number. This is your schedule. I can see the two. The rest of thing you can ignore this. This is the default ones. Variable and this is schedule information. This is a variable employee number I want to print. Just drag and drop variable employee number to the expression area. A drag and drop. So for my logger message, I'm associating employee number, which is in the variable. Just validate it, close it, and save it. So as of now, we are created one variable and trying to print the variable value. Now test your integration. Just there is a middle button is available. Just click on the. So before test your integration, first you need to activate your integration. So why activation is required is nothing but it will verify overall integration. If any errors are there, it will throw errors. If integration looks good, it will try to activate the integration. Whenever the integration active status, then only you can run your integration. Okay. Just try to click on the middle icon, power button, enable tracing, include payload. Enable tracing, include payload is nothing but the complete log information you can see whenever your integration is successfully completed with help of tracking. Initial stage we are added the tracking, right? With the help of the tracking, you can trace your complete application, your integration logs. Just click on the activate and the refresh here. Now the integration get activated successfully. There is a run symbol is available. If you open your integration, now integration is in lock mode. You cannot edit your integration since it is in a activated mode. This is activated and your integration is view only, read only. There is no edit symbol is available here. There is no edit symbol. If the integration is a configured mode, if the integration is configured mode is nothing but you can edit your integration as per your requirements. Now just submit the integration here. Just click on run this integration. There is the middle option, submit now. Just select this, submit now. As of now, we are running this integration as an ad hoc basis. This is ad hoc request. Just submit now. Nothing but on demand. Just click on this hyperlink so that it will navigate to the monitoring tracking screen. It will land it to your monitoring tracking screen. This is your monitoring tracking screen, track instances. This is start time. Nothing but we are adding the tracking variable, right? Which is the start time. When you create an integration, with help of this, you can track your integration. Now this integration status is succeeded, and this is taken minimum 19 milliseconds in order to complete your integration. Just click on, there is an I symbol is available to view the details. This is called activity stream. How your integration flow is happening the runtime. The complete flow you can see in the activity stream here. This is scheduled request submitted very first time. So instead of this, just open your integration here. This is the flow. Very first time schedule is triggered. Then variable integration, variable initialization is happened. Next log message printed and stopping your integration. The same flow here you can see. The right side actions. Here also you can find the view activity stream. Just click on the view activity stream. You can see the complete activity stream here. First schedule request submitted and schedule request started running. Triggered a schedule run with a message, which is ad hoc based. Message received by assignment variable initialization. This is message received. Just click on the hyperlink here. This is variable. Variable employee number was assigned with 100 here. And the logger message. This is logger message. Log message is 100. We are trying to print the value. Log message is 100 and stopping your integration. Processing completed successfully. Okay. So this is a basic, simple, basic integration. How to create an integration, how to test the integration, how to track the integration. So when you click on hyperlink, it will land it to monitoring tracking screen, right? So without that also, this is my integration. There is a monitoring section is available. Just click on the monitoring, integrations, and the tracking. The same screen it will be landed when you click on that hyperlink immediately when you submit your integration. The both ways you can land this tracking screen. Okay. Okay, that's it for today. Tomorrow we'll see the rest of it. So any doubts, any clarifications on this integration?
Vijay, this is Amit.
Yeah,
I
Amit.
just want to ask you, do we have any debug option for this? This is like a basic. So do we have any debug option for
Yeah, this is only for debug purpose only, activity stream.
that login information, right?
Yes, exactly.
But if we find some error in between the process,
Yeah, the debug screen will provide an error.
okay, but it will go ahead or it will stop there?
No, it will
at
stop
that
the
point?
integration. Yeah, that is I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
It will stop the integration. If you use the scope, it will go ahead. If you're not use the scope, it will raise an error, stop the integration.
Okay, fine.
That is your design, based on your design. If you want to stop the integration, your wish. I don't want to stop the integration in some middle of the flow. If this error will be raised, nothing but this error is not an accountable. You can go to the next flow.
Okay.
That is depends on your integration.
Okay. Thank you.
That is, we'll see without the